Mare of Easttown, it was about like who did it, and that in our show it's why did they do it.
Where's the money?
You're the ones that's been causing all the problems, huh?
I think it's safe to say that Task can be viewed as a companion piece to Brad Ingelsby's previous work for HBO, which is obviously Mare of Easttown, because of the setting, the crime and thriller elements and so on. But despite all of that, the show can definitely stand on its own. And what would you say is the thing that distinguishes Task the most?
I remember reading, someone else said this, but I thought it was really true, that like someone was saying about that maybe in Mare of Easttown it was about like who did it, and that in our show it's why did they do it. Because at the beginning of the story who's doing it, and what and the story is sort of about the unraveling of why and what it's all for. But yeah, of course, it's it's the same sort of world, and it's Brad's world, Brad Ingelsby's world. So it's such an amazing world to step into, isn't it? It's like so unique, and the accent and everything. But yeah, I hope that answers your question.
When you watch it as a viewer, I think there's different things that are being asked of you. When you're watching Mare of Easttown, I think you are just curious, and you're like, you're really, the part of your brain that's trying to figure things out is at its max capacity, where I feel like Task is really trying to allow us to connect our empathetic, softer side, the side of us that is like, wait, this is morally compromising, but why? What are the right sides to choose, and why should I pick a side? I think there's also more moral questions in Task than there is on Mare of Easttown.
Well, they're different kinds of stories. Mare is a mystery, and Task is a collision course. It's really a story about two men colliding and their lives intersecting and exploding. One is a mystery, and I think one is crime, more broadly crime.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I think one is a very intimate, small story. Mare is a small story, and Task is a very big, broad canvas.
I feel like Mare of Easttown was such a sort of like isolated story. It was all in one town, and it was all really about a woman and kind of her life. And I think that Task is so many characters. It's a real ensemble piece. Like, it's very rare that you have a show of this scale where you have this many characters that are kind of POV characters that you're following through the story. And Brad writes that better than anyone I've ever read. It's like almost like a theater writer. So like, someone who writes theater, it's every character is so fully fledged out, and there's so many stories you're following at once. Whereas I feel like, at least to me, it felt like with Mare of Easttown, we were really following Kate Winslet's story.
I think it's also like Mare of Easttown is very much about a community, and it's like very much about Mare and her family and her friends, whereas Task is kind of like opening up the world a little bit more.
Yeah.
There are a lot more characters from, like, we don't live near each other in the show. It's like
where you live.
I'm far out. Where my character lives is far away from where the bikers are situated from where you are. Like, it's just, I think it's expanding the world, which is quite, I think, exciting and cool, because the shows are in the same world, but they are quite different, and I think there's room for both, and I hope people like Task like they did Mare of Easttown.